So, Father Ted. Released 30 years ago, and still the most popular sitcom in Ireland. And for good reasons. A lot of this comes down to the great writing of Arthur Matthews, and, rather unfortunately, Graham Linehan. But, much like with Braveheart, Silver Linings Playbook, or indeed Harry Potter, I can separate the art from the artist. And it also comes down to many other great aspects of the show. The acting, the music, the visual style, it's extra. I've been a fan of Father Ted for over a decade, and I thought, why not rank it for its 30th anniversary? So, that's what I'm going to do here. And, if you're thinking of bad-mouthing me for having a different opinion, you can feck off. But anyway, let's head to Craggy Island to rank some iconic episodes. Starting with... a fantastic way to start the series, and superb ways of introducing all its characters. The episode is able to introduce and properly establish who the characters are. Ted, the everyman, Dougal, the childlike Egypt, Jack, the violent alcoholic, Mrs. Doyle, the hyperactive housekeeper, John and Mary, the secretly toxic couple, Tom, the violent Egypt. It has many hilarious moments, including just how shite Funland is, as well as various antics regarding the TV, including Jack destroying it, and Dougal pretending to be on it.
How does that gobshite get on the television?
What most of us ask about Mrs. Brown's Boys. And Dougal accidentally stealing Ted's interview at the end, as well as everyone's background reaction to Ted falling off the crane of death. I also love hysterically at the payoff to Ted's cartoon of reality versus dreams, and how Dougal revisualizes it during the interview. Absolutely phenomenal. Another hilarious episode. The awkwardness surrounding the presence of the incredibly boring Father Stone never gets old, especially when he wants to use the toilet while Ted is having a bath. And Michael Redmond really conveys it. Do you want to praise your actor, Father Stone?
No, fine.
It's not quite as funny as the first episode, but it's still a great one all the same. This episode introduces Bishop Brennan, who manages to be simultaneously hilarious and loathsome, and Jim Norton conveys this very well. The episode also serves as insightful commentary on how people are willing to dismiss, or even protest films without watching them first, and also how controversy can prompt people to see films to understand why they're controversial. Hell, it's prompted me to watch some shite films for controversial cinema. Another great and hilarious episode. This is the very first episode of Father Ted I ever watched. It was the first episode on the Very Best of Father Ted DVD, and I watched the episodes on it quite frequently before getting the complete box set. As it is, it's a very good one, with a lot of really funny moments. I like how Father Dunn is simultaneously hilarious and annoying, and I wonder whether or not I'd want to be him. Overly happy all the time, but also annoying to everyone else. And the 3 Ages of Elvis at the end is brilliant. It also introduces recurring character Father Dick Byrne, and my god does he live up to his first name. I just don't find it as funny as the first 3 episodes overall, but it is still a really good episode, and it introduces a lot of great stuff to the series. This is a great episode. Seeing Ted catch feelings for an author he admires, despite this relationship being impossible, comes with a lot of funny moments, but also a sense of sadness. Over the course of the episode, there are many hilarious moments, particularly Ted getting punched when accidentally rear-ending a car, Mrs. Doyle ranting about the obscene language and sentences in Polly's books, Ted trying to come up with a ton of lies to avoid telling the nuns about his meeting with Polly, and it all going horribly wrong for him, Tom robbing the post office, and Jack laughing hysterically at Dougal getting stuck in the sofa at the end. Another absolute gem of an episode. While it is one of the weaker episodes of Season 1, it's still a really good episode. An episode themed around the supposed death of Father Jack is an interesting idea, and the episode delivers on it. It's not as funny as other episodes, but it has its fair share of hilarious moments, particularly Ted and Dougal playing charades, and Dougal pretending to be Jack. When your weakest episode is still really good, you know you've got a great season. So, a great start to the series, and hopefully Season 2 will follow suit. This is a great episode that manages to make the boredom of the campsite so hysterical. There's the iconic small and far away scene, but there's also the misencounters with the couple, and the husband ending up naked on the bonnet of their car, and Father Jack riding up the magic road, and ending up on a yacht with, you guessed it, girls! We also get our first appearance from Father Noel Furlong, played brilliantly by Graham Norton. This is a really good episode. While it's not quite as funny as other episodes, it's still got a ton of hilarious moments, including Ted trying to fix a dent in the car, only to destroy it, and the build-up to the revelation of the condition of the new car after Jack drove it. Dougal's misunderstandings regarding the rigged raffle are always funny too. A great episode. The events that take place before and during the Bishop's coming are all hilarious. particularly Ted trying to get Jack to say that would be an ecumenical matter, which pays off later on, at least temporarily, and Dougal questioning religion to the point of some of the bishops resigning. There's also great moments with Mrs. Dawes struggling to see properly with her glasses on, and the dire situation with the toilet. While the bishop's visit wasn't a complete success, this episode was. Another hilarious episode. Seeing Dougal be negatively influenced by a teenage-like priest comes with many hilarious moments, but the theft of a whistle being the talk of Craggy Island, and how everyone becomes more security conscious is even better. The climax, in which Ted tries to come up with an explanation for having the whistle, even when he doesn't have to, is just brilliant. It's possible to make an everyman character funny on paper, but to really sell it, you have to hire an actor who can make the delivery hilarious. And Dermot Morgan was one of those many actors. A brilliant episode that managed to bring a real-life event into the show, Ireland continually winning Eurovision, something that Ted had mentioned in competition time. The episode has many hilarious moments, including Ted continuously swearing at Dougal after telling him not to take the song too seriously, the bad version of My Lovely Horse, and the absolute feckin' gibberish of the Song for Ireland presenter. My Lovely Horse, the good version, and The Miracle Is Mine are unironic bangers, and I really wish the former had been made Ireland's entry for Eurovision 2015. Do you think they would have had to lose that sax solo? A really good episode. Seeing Ted try to hide Dougal's rabbits from the arriving Bishop Brennan, only for it, along with Jack's bollock naked sleepwalking, to end badly for the Bishop, leads to a hilarious conclusion. The episode as a whole isn't as funny as some of the other episodes, but it is still a very good one. I want to believe that Neve's song on TV is ridiculing TERFs, but I'd have to be certain that Arthur Matthews wrote that part, and not Graham Linehan. That aside, this is a good episode. It's not the funniest episode in the series, but it does have a hilarious end credits scene, and some hilarious scenes of Dougal not knowing how to talk to Neve. This is by far the weakest episode so far, but it's still a good one. Another great episode. Seeing Ted opt to give up smoking for Lent, as well as getting Dougal and Jack to give up rollerblading and drinking, solely to one-up Father Dick Byrne, is a funny setup, and it leads to many hysterical moments from here. Such moments include Ted, Dougal and Jack realising they can't resist temptation, Jack becoming sober, Dougal only remembering one specific part of a huge mishap that happened when he and Ted were with Sister Assumpta, and many of Assumpta's steps in Ted and Dougal's daily punishment. On this most recent rewatch of the episode, I think the ending is symbolic. Ted agrees to keep quiet about Assumpta giving into her temptation of chocolate, on the condition of her going to Rugged Island to punish Dick and Cyril for lying about giving up their own temptations. The only way it could have been funnier was if Ted responded by saying, well, aside from it coming to about £8, here's a mad idea, which would have been a funny parallel to when John and Mary charged him for the Easter eggs. While not as funny as other episodes, this is still a really good episode, and has the odd hilarious moment, such as the priests at St. Clabert yelling when the light is turned on, and when Ted and Dougal try to identify Jack. Guest star Brendan Grace also did a great job at making Father Finton Stack so insufferable. That character was probably the only person anyone would choose Jack over. This is a great episode. Watching priests cause havoc on a plane that almost results in their doom is very funny to watch, and the episode has many hilarious moments throughout, including Ted and Dougal's gift shop purchases, the discussion about who gets the parachutes, Jack stealing the parachutes, with one being for the drink cart, and the simultaneous tension and humour-filled climax. Safe to say, I would not want to be on a plane with most of these people. The show's first and only Christmas special, and also sadly the last episode to air during Dermot Morgan's lifetime. But it's a very funny one, with the whole scene in which the priests try to escape the huge laundry section of the shopping centre being simultaneously hilarious and suspenseful. While I do think it goes on too long, it does have many funny moments throughout, such as Mrs. Dole trying to guess Todd's name, which has an extra layer of comedy on rewatch, her resentment of the tea-making machine, Jack ending up in the kid play area and the kids swearing, and the priests making up lyrics to the French national anthem at Jack's request. They're a good episode overall. On average, on par with Season 1 in terms of quality, and hopefully the third and final season will continue that streak of success. A hilarious episode with many iconic moments. Seeing Ted do a racist impression of Chinese people, right when Chinese people are looking through the window, is just brilliant. And his attempt to invite them round to explain, only for his gestures to send off another inappropriate impression. But it's home to many other iconic moments, including Colm's famous,
I hear you're a racist now, Father!
Quote, and asking if he should be racist. Ted going into the pub playing Irish music, only for it to be full of Chinese people playing Irish music, and not an Irish person in sight. Father Fitzpatrick accidentally ingesting cyanide, and Ted's laughable presentation at the diversity event. The episode just has so many iconic and hilarious moments, and is very likely to end up near the top of the final ranking. Another great episode. The myth of a beast on Craggy Island, and how everyone responds to it, including Chris the sheep, is hilarious. The climax regarding Ted's discovery, and how he calls out everyone who was complicit in cheating, is hilariously dramatic. Fucking hell. And the outcome for Ted himself is just the icing on the cake. This episode parodies the Speed films, and yet, it's unironically more suspenseful than Speed 2. And it's another brilliant episode all around. From Dougal vomiting on Ted, to Ted being hit on the head with a brick, there's never a dull moment. And it's hard to single out hilarious moments as a result, though the big bunch of boxes is certainly iconic. Pat Laffin guest stars as Pat Mustard, and manages to convey the comedic, seductive and sadistic traits of the character. Mustard is a great villain all around, and the way he catches Ted out when the latter calls him out on making a load of hairy babies is genuinely clever. This is going near the top of the final ranking for sure. 4 great episodes in a row. Seeing so much hassle come from Ted trying to collect his £200, with him and Dougal getting trapped in the caves, and Ted facing bad encounters with Noel, and actor Richard Wilson, Dougal being hungry, Jack getting his glasses stolen, leading to misunderstandings at an AA event, and Mrs. Doyle and her friend fighting over who pays the bill, makes for a very eventful and hilarious episode. The way these Season 3 masterpieces keep coming in, it's almost criminal. But yeah, this is another brilliant one. Seeing Ted try to prepare senior priests for a football match, which involves very slowly kicking the ball, and being lucky to even score a single goal, is just hysterical. The standout moments for me with this episode, aside from what's going on within the football match itself, are Mrs. Doyle trying to get into football, and Dougal teasing Cyril with the flagpole. And we get that simultaneous, suspenseful, and hilarious cliffhanger. Speaking of which, continuing from the previous one, Ted has to carry out the forfeit of kicking Bishop Brennan up the arse.
Roll credits.
And it manages to be a very funny one. Not brilliant, but still a very good episode overall. And I do laugh hysterically at Ted carrying out the titular forfeit, before getting drunk and telling Dougal to blow up a copy of the photo 10 by 10, with Dougal thinking he means feet. And Jack's quote-unquote apology to Bishop Brennan is a hilarious case of sarcasm. It's also nice to see Dougal give words of wisdom every so often, even if the odd wise moment doesn't mean he's not more of an idiot than Ted and Jack put together. This is a good episode. While it's not outright hilarious like other episodes, the concept of a pop star being stalked by old women in the style of zombie apocalypse films is an interesting one. And the ending of Ted going on Eon's show and struggling to guess what should be a simple question for a priest is a hilarious moment. Dermot Morgan really showcased Ted struggling to think of an answer, and if you told me this scene boosted the votes for his posthumous BAFTA win, I'd totally believe you. And so we come to the last episode of Father Ted, and it's a good one. While it's objectively not one of the best episodes, it does have its fair share of funny moments, with Ted's visions of Dougal, Jack and Mrs. Doyle being the best part. Maybe my opinion on the episode is overshadowed by it being the end of the series, and the episode being harder to watch as a result, mainly the fact that Dermot Morgan died the day after filming finished. There's common discussion over whether or not the series would have continued had he not died, but this episode was always intended as the last one. The original ending to the episode was much darker, but the writers took it out due to not believing it was very funny, and Morgan's death made it seem especially dodgy. Whether or not taking this ending out would have left the show open to continue in a few years' time, ultimately, Morgan did die. Furthered by Frank Kelly's death exactly 18 years later, the series was never going to return, and to recast Ted and Jack is simply a lost cause. The montage at the end is bittersweet, showcasing the end of the series, but also reminding us of some of the show's best moments. And Ted and Dougal's final in-series interaction,
Night, Dougal. Night, Ted.
representing a parallel to their first in-series interaction. Rest in peace, Dermot Morgan and Frank Kelly. So, we've reached the end of the series. You know you've got a great series when the best episodes are phenomenal, and the weakest are still a 7 out of 10. But now it's time to rank all the episodes from worst to best. So, at number 25, we have Night of the Nearly Dead, Rockahula Ted, Going to America, Think Fast Father Ted, New Jack City, The Plague, Kicking Bishop Brennan Up the Arse, A Christmassy Ted, Grant Unto Him Eternal Rest, Competition Time, Entertaining Father Stone, and God Created Woman, Hell, The Passion of St. Tibulus, Old Grey Whistle Theft, Flight into Terror, Good Luck Father Ted, Tentacles of Doom, Escape from Victory, The Mainland, Chirpy Burpy Cheap Sheep, A Song for Europe, Cigarettes and Alcohol and Rollerblading, Are You Right There Father Ted, Speed 3. And with that, the only thing I have to say is, happy anniversary, Father Ted.
Night, Dougal. Night, Ted.